Good morning, Vietnam. I had two takes yesterday. The first one, I had to swat my cat out of the way. He's taken to getting up in the morning with me. Right now, he's dealing with my feet. Anyway, it's about 10 to 3, and the painting behind me is it's kind of based on a photograph that I took when I was in Lisbon, Portugal. Uh, and it was not raining there, even though it's raining kind of in the painting. And last night we had a torrential downpour, some sort of tropical storm that blew down from China. They blame everything on China here. Probably came from Pacific Ocean, but anyway, but then China doesn't matter. Anyway, it was wow, just amazing. And what was the most amazing is that what ended up happening, we were going down a road, and it was very, um, it was, I would say that it was knee deep to me. And there was a guy there, who decided to take command. He had a yellow jacket. I don't think he had anything to do with anything, but eventually he pulled a barrier that came from somewhere out, and he was going like this, and I could see. I think the deepest part might have been waist deep to a fellow. I'm not very tall, but I think I probably towered over the guy who was waist deep in the water. Honestly, I think it might have gone up to my crotch. And I know my Suzuki could have plowed right through it, and we plowed through some stuff. But one of the things that people don't understand is when it's that deep, um, if you're in it, you might as well get out of it. People think, I don't know if they just think if they just sit there, though, despite the fact that the rain is coming down. And this isn't just here, by the way. I have a story from back when I was traveling in Baja California. We're coming back up from down near La Paz, and these guys were, oh, it was up to here and all of this. And of course, I walked about 500 meters to the thing, and then I walked across it, and then that's how it is. Anyway, I started talking about the publishing of the book yesterday, and get back on that. And what I was saying was, firstly, I had done a lot of investigation about publishing a book. A friend of mine mentioned that a lot of people just do it on Amazon, and I don't know if he used the word adjust, but yeah, I looked into that, and I was like, no way in the world. And there was just a friend of mine I mentioned in the description of the other video, Rich Rosberg. He had paid a publisher in Montana to publish his first book. Great story. I'll get the title in the next video, or I'll put it in the description actually. And he wrote another one about golf, a short story, beautiful story about him and a friend of his who is not around anymore. Marty died a few years ago. I don't know if I met that particular Marty. I knew a lot of Martys when I was growing up, but yeah. But what I had decided after doing a lot of research was that I was going to go with this particular publisher, Europe Books, because I knew that there were several aspects of what they were offering, that I would never do. And they did do an interview, which they circulated on YouTube. They did interviews of a lot of authors. One of the craziest things was that during my research, I found out that there were a lot of people that were critical of them and suspicious of them, and those people didn't have any books. That's one of the things that I really tried to teach my students and try to teach my students is check your sources. I mean, that was a big thing when I was growing up. We didn't have the internet. And then once I got into the university, that became really important. And I think that a lot of people don't like to do that when it comes to politics and things. And even when they do, they don't. It doesn't change their opinion. And that's probably true with the people that we're talking about publishing a book. Um, I saw one guy, I think he was Italian. I looked him up. And don't do the easy way. Find a real publisher, don't do this, don't do that. And he didn't have anything published. And I looked up some, now I don't think it was AI back then. It was probably 6, 7, 10 years ago. But I can tell you this, if you saw it now, if someone read what he had written, I think there would be the assumption that it was AI slop. I hope, because it was just slop. And it's really amazing that that people, it's the same in art. I mean, I suppose a lot of people could say that about my art, to say, you're not really very good, or the reason you don't, try realism because you can't do it or something, okay, whatever. But there is there is a little bit of a standard when it comes to that's beyond the opinion. And anyway, I think that there were just certain aspects that I knew that the editing process. I was thinking, who am I going to have edit it with me? And a great friend offered, and then I realized it was going to take until the end of time, or one of us died or something. But anyway, the I smile as I say that, because I think both of us are in very good condition, and I think there's no danger of that happening in the next few years. So I can joke about that. But anyway, yeah, it was a process, and as I think I mentioned, I did at one point just give up. And I saw some comments and things, and I thought, my goodness, what are you even thinking? And then and both ways, a part of me was saying, what are you thinking that you can write a book? And then I saw another, and this happens all the time, and I know that it happens because a person wants, like I think it was Socrates, seek not counsel, for you choose the counsel that you seek. When I didn't feel like finishing the book, I would, look up something, and these guys are rip-offs, or this or that. And then I'm thinking, well, they did return your mail. They did, they've been editing your work and all of this other. Maybe they're not doing a great job. Maybe they are, but at the end of the day, they're doing something. And so that excuse was out. And then one day, I was thinking about, really, what would be in my life. And I thought, well, your mom would love to see a book by you. She would love that. And there were some other things. And then one day, I read just the beginning of someone's comment, and it said, no one gives a blank about your book. And I thought, yeah, wow, cool guy. And then I read down, and it wasn't a person discouraging someone, but it was, and that's another thing when we talk about sources. A lot of times, most relevant comments on Facebook or something, like really relevant to who, but this or to whom, but. This fellow had written that nobody cares. So, you're the one that has to be the ultimate judge of whether or not you want to do it. if you think your brother, your sister, your wife, whoever in your life is going to be behind you, that's something. I had the great good luck, or I have the great good luck to be an older dad and have young kids. They're a tremendous inspiration. Their enthusiasm just wonderful, and just it was kind of cool. One day I was my daughter. She must have been 6 at the time, 6 or 7, but I had a bunch of profanity in that book, in these stories, and I was editing, and I came and I saw her on my laptop typing away, and I thought, no, and I could just imagine like pages of my book out in cyberspace or something. And I said, "What are you doing, Feng Mai?" And she said, I don't like that word. And she was going through and taking this out. So I went and did that myself. And that was a bit of an inspiration on that day. But one of the things about that, whether you're trying to do it on Amazon or something else, I think be real. Be realistic. Somebody, oh, big deal. You paid to publish. Well, I'm holding a piece of history, and I'm sitting in front of something, that I created myself, and that's important to me. And I hope whatever you're doing in life, period, is important to you. That should be something, and that's part of what I'm doing now. Like I say, this journey, I'm on, I guess, day 4 of this, and even though we had a crazy night last night, and we ended up stopping at a mall, and I've been eating very well, very healthfully, and we ended up eating some Texas chicken, including the biscuits, which were incredibly dry. They're usually really good, actually, for a fast food thing. And then we had some donuts and the same thing, but at the end of the day, really poor, whatever I want to say, diet management or something. And I got on the scale, and I'm doing okay. So really happy about that. I wanted to get on to something else, but I just happened to think, as it was raining, this is a watercolor that I did quite some time ago when I was living in this place on Oku here. And my studio was on the 3rd floor, and this was looking out into the countryside. And because my house was the only, or my apartment, not apartment, it's a house, but I was renting it, was higher than virtually any building in the direction of the river. I could see for kilometers, and also the sound traveled that far, and there was actually a kind of a disco by the river, I guess, and I don't know, or a club, I guess they don't call it a disco anymore. But yeah, I've got to pay attention to my volume also. I was listening to the video. But the deal is when there was a storm, which they're pretty frequent here. We're not that far from the ocean, and we're way up by China. And anyway, in this place, my goodness, when it would rain, end up bailing out the balcony, and I mean, it was really like I was on a ferry a couple of times when I've never been in like an ocean cruise or something like that. But I've been on a ferry, and yeah, I've been in some pretty wicked and weather, and in the sea, particularly between Ho Chi Minh City and Vung Tau, an island just south of there, I guess south, and certainly is north. And yeah, it was just insane. But yet last night that was something special. Anyway, yeah, this is day 4. I hope I've made some progress as far as keeping on task. But I have been going longer than I've intended. And if you're watching and you make it to the end, bless you and bless me. And by the way, Living Artists, we've been having people add on a daily basis. I'm not exaggerating. We've had 2 days in a row. That's correct. And the numbers aren't, it's not like 500 people, but I think it will be. And I think that the community of artists will continue to grow. We're doing an affordable art fair here at Studio 13 in Hanoi. And that's what I'll continue to do. I think tomorrow, maybe I'll be a little bit more focused on the promotion of the art. I do know that I got a bit distracted today by the two little dots on my shirt and maybe by my cats, but the torrential downpour, it was amazing. It was raining so hard that cars were pulling over, and I'm pretty sure it was because they couldn't see. I couldn't see that well, but I've had a long history of driving and in inclement weather, not necessarily rain like that, but yeah, actually I have, and snow in Montana where I grew up. But like I say, I've gone longer than I've intended. Yet again, I don't want to do any editing, and I won't. Have a great day wherever you are.